ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। 32nd verse?
Yeah. I don't have my notes, so it's 33.
Read it this considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya reader.
33.
Atha chetvam, this is if. Remember this?
If, yeah.
I think, yeah, if. Atha chetvam imam dharmyam.
Atha chetam dharmyam.
Tvam imam dharmyam.
Tvam imam dharmyam.
Sangramam na karishyasi.
Sangramam na karishyasi.
Tataha swadharmam kirtim cha.
Tataha swadharmam kirtim cha.
Hitva papam avapsyasi.
Hitva papam avapsyasi.
If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Now this is coming from, I remember in one particular video overview class I was doing the shlokas, like the identity part is entirely for Arjuna, how he is lamenting or his compassion is for the body of the person, not for the soul. So he is breaking the foundation of his entire reason for why he doesn't want to fight by presenting the real identity of the person. It's the soul, it's not the body. So there's no question of him not fighting against Bhishma and Drona. He has to do, because anyway he doesn't have any connection with them. What he's thinking of physical connection. And then he starts giving more reasons as to why there are more reasons why he must fight. Arjun was thinking that there's only bad things going to happen, there are only bad omens, there's no good which is going to come out of this war. He says, I don't see anything good coming out of this war. He says in the beginning of chapter 2. So here Krishna says that if, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, first he reminds him saying that you're a Kshatriya, considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, he says in 31, he says there's nothing else better for you but fighting. Because here Arjun was thinking that I'll go to the forest and I will not fight, I will retire there. So Krishna is trying to point out that you are a Kshatriya, the bodily designation and the nature that you have right now is of a Kshatriya. So even in the forest if you go, if you see something wrong happening there, you will pick up a fight. Because that's your nature. You will not be at peace. So here he is saying that rather You engage yourself because this is your prescribed duty. And then he says that actually you're thinking that only bad things will happen, but Kshatriyas actually, if you wait for such opportunities. War, like on Sunday in Srimad Bhagavad-Gita was saying that in previous yugas, accidental death means like a snake bite, something like that. Otherwise, he's saying that otherwise there is no accidental death. It is completely unheard of. In Kali Yuga only, there are plane crashes and car accidents. These are only happening in Kali Yuga. And then, another person, he was saying that when a mosquito, when he takes off and he lands, he doesn't crash himself down. It's perfect mechanism because it's made by God. Everything man-made is subject to defects. And that's why in Kali Yuga, because we have such an artificial lifestyle, there are so many accidents and this and that. And earlier time, there was only, and he's saying that wars people think were like, it's not accidental death, it's very glorious. For a Kshatriya to die in the battlefield, there's nothing more glorious for them. In fact, even if you see the way, suppose if a Kshatriya passes off and then his statue has to be made somewhere, the way his statue will be according to the way that person has died. If he's died at home, then his horse will be all 4 feet touching the ground. If he has died on the battlefield, then his horse will be, the 2 feet will be up in the air. If he's on foot, that means he's, died because of some other reason. So that's glorious. For a Kshatriya to die at home of some disease is absolutely tormenting for them. So he said, how you not be able to take it? He said, happy are those Kshatriyas for whom fighting opportunities like these come unsought. For Kshatriyas wait for such opportunities. And he's saying that if you're thinking that by fighting you will get sins, it's exactly the opposite. He says that if, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. Means even as your social status you will be gone, even as if you're thinking that by fighting I'll become sinful, let me inform you, Arjun, that by doing this you'll be exactly getting the opposite reaction, that you will definitely get sins by neglect because you're neglecting your duty of fighting. Perfect?
Arjuna was a famous fighter and he attained fame by fighting many great demigods, including even Lord Shiva. After fighting and defeating Lord Shiva in the dress of a hunter, Arjuna pleased the Lord and received as a reward a weapon called Pashupata Astra. Everyone knew that he was a great warrior. Even Dronacharya gave him benedictions and awarded him the special weapon by which he could kill even his teacher. So he was credited with so many military certificates from so many authorities, including his adopted father Indra, the heavenly king. But if he abandoned the battle, not only would he neglect his specific duty as a Kshatriya, but he would lose all his fame and good name and thus prepare his royal road to hell. In other words, he would go to hell not by fighting, but by withdrawing from battle.
Yeah. Now if you see all our advertising campaigns, they're simply based on someone who's a rich personality. Because that person is using this, you must use it. It's actually true at that time also. At that time also Arjun was the best Kshatriya. Any Kshatriya would look up to him. Or any child would look up to Arjun. He was the best hero of that time. And if he declined to fight and if he retired, everyone will follow his. Then who will protect the land? And if any atrocities happen on the land, like that day Devi Prabhu was giving the example of Muhammad Ghazni. He came 17 times to one place. That is Kashi. Came to Kashi or
He came to some temple town. He
Yeah,
entered the temple town, sir.
yeah, 17 times. 17 times he did that. So literally, it would take him, he didn't live that long also. So most of his prime, youth, he was simply doing that. He was simply coming here looting. He only looted India and became happy, became so rich. And why? What were the Kshatriyas doing in India? 17 times, chalo, ek baar koi aaye, 2 baar koi aaye, 3 baar koi aaye. He should be prepared for them, na? 17 times the person has come and looted the same place. But the Kshatriyas are not doing anything. Because at that time, Buddhism had just come to India and non-violence had come. So all the Kshatriyas had taken up non-violence. And no one wanted to touch anything. And in that way, India has become so poor. Because actually people who wanted to do their duty were not doing it. So then that's what Krishna is trying to inform Arjuna, that if you don't protect, you will have to face the sins. When people suffer because of you neglecting your duty or giving protection to them. Yeah?
What exactly is the story of Lord Shiva?
Arjun had left the association of his, like when they were there for Vanvas for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time they were going to these different places. When they reached close to Badrinath, Arjuna left for an entire year. He left them. He wanted to do more austerities. So Draupadi and the 4 husbands, they were there, and Arjuna left at that time to go to other places. At that time Krishna recommended that he should go to the heavenly planets and seek the blessings of his father Indra. So while going to that place, he met a hunter. And the hunter said that I will not let you go. So Arjuna was thinking, why is he saying? And then he started fighting with him. So Arjuna gave him back. And it was a major fight. Like all the denizens of heaven were thinking, the hunter is also so expert that he is ready to fight with Arjuna. And Arjuna knew that this person is extremely powerful, but he was giving him a tough fight. And what the hunter liked is that although I am so powerful, it's actually Lord Shiva in disguise of a hunter. And he looked at him and he said that this person doesn't have any fear of losing. He's putting up his best, and he is very pleased. And then he revealed his form as Lord Shiva, and he said that in the future you will be serving the Lord in a specific purpose, and my service will be this astra. So he gives him that astra. And actually, it is said that in this conversation itself, Lord Shiva said that I will be in front, because Krishna will be riding your chariot. I'll be in front of your chariot.
Shiva is there.
Shivji, yeah. And actually, he's not visible to everyone. So in the Mahabharata war, nobody could see him. But actually, a lot of times, even before Arjuna could approach his enemies, they were already dead. So it is said that Lord Shiva was riding before the chariot, before Krishna came, as a service to Shri Krishna, as a service to Arjuna and Krishna. And he was riding before them on his Nandi. No on and a light.
Yeah, until the light is on, it will record. The only clarity thing I will come to know immediately once you read the book exactly how to do. Or just take it once to maybe short read up another one.
Akirtim chapi bhutani
Akirtim chapi bhutani
kathayishyanti te vyayam
kathayishyanti te vyayam
sambhavitasya chakirti
sambhavitasya chakirti
maranadapi richyate.
People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. Want to read further?
Yeah. Both as friend and philosopher to Arjuna, Lord Krishna now gives his final judgment regarding Arjuna's refusal to fight. The Lord says, Arjuna, if you leave the battlefield before the battle even begins, people will call you a coward. But if you think that people may call you bad names, but that you will save your life by fleeing the battlefield, then my advice is that you do better to die in the battle. For a respectable man like you, ill fate is worse than death. So you should not flee for fear of your life. Better die in the battle. That would save you from the ill fame of misusing my friendship and from losing your prestige in society. So the final judgment of the Lord was for Arjuna to die in the battle and not withdraw.
Correct. Here, it's so beautiful. The acharyas often do this, I've seen even Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baldev Vidyabhushan. What they usually do, is they reframe the words of the Lord and make it into, 2-3 sentences and make us understand. So let's see. Here now what Prabhupada has written, if you see, he's written the Lord says. Actually the Lord is saying only one sentence. But you see how much he's done? He's given because devotees of the Lord, and even in the beginning in 1.1 in the purport Prabhupada writes, is that you always hear from a devotee of Krishna about the Bhagavad-Gita because he perfectly understands the heart of Krishna. what Krishna wants to say. Although he speak only one line, but you know the internal meaning. Like you and your spouse, you will speak through your eyes also. You will not need to say words. But people around you are just wondering, what is happening. But you all are understanding each other perfectly. So the devotees of the Lord are so much in love with the Lord, and the Lord is so much in love with his devotees that they understand each other perfectly. They don't need to speak many words. When they say something, the devotees immediately understand, okay, this is what the Lord says to me. So here, Prabhupada is writing that he is trying to coax Arjuna to fight, because saying that, see, you are my friend. I have come here all the way for you. At one point of time, after all, actually what happened, everything was taken away from the Pandavas. Even when they came back, Duryodhana couldn't give anything to them, did not give anything to them, he did not want to. So then they said that, okay, now fight is inevitable. So later on, it's actually there in Mahabharata that just before the fight, and they had to stay at Drupad's house. The Pandavas, they all assembled at Drupad's house, Draupadi's father's, unke sasural mein they were staying. So from the balcony, it is mentioned in Mahabharata, from the balcony of where they were staying, he could see all the different Rajya with their army, and everyone is coming and assembling. Everyone is getting ready. So when Yudhishthir saw this enormous amount of people on his side, he started feeling very bad for them. He's saying, why do they have to die for me? He was feeling it's such an internal fight between brothers, why do they have to get into it? And they will die. They will die. Battlefield is inevitable. You get shot, you're dead. So then he was telling the brothers that, look at this, what is happening. So many people are gathering just for us, and I don't want them to die for us. So then Bhima, who was always so, always geared up to fight and everything, he also was convinced by his brother's words. He said, okay, I think we should call off the fight. It's okay, we'll just manage somehow without anything. Even Arjuna agreed, Nakul Sahadev agreed. Krishna got irritated with it. He said, are you mad? Are you Kshatriya? What are you all, He said, you all have, forget everything. Forget what they've done to Bhima, forget what they've done to you, forget what they've done in the gambling match. During your Vanvas, how much they'll probably forget that. But I can't forget what they did to Draupadi. At least for her sake, for the sake of her hair open, you have to fight. Then Bhima woke up. He said, yes. Now that is something that I will never forget. So here, although Krishna went as a doot, he went as doing everything, but then internally even he had this, that they've done this to my devotees. So although he arranged everything so that the weeds are out, actually even by the end of Srimad Bhagavatam, the beginning of 11th canto, it's there where Vedvyas writes, Sukadeva Goswami is speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. He's saying that more than half of the burden of earth was wiped out in the Mahabharata. And Baki jo bache kuche the that Shishupal would get. Shishupal was getting 17 times he got demonic forces to fight with Krishna. Every time he would kill everyone, but he would leave Jarasandha. Jarasandha would go back, he would gather more allies, more friends to fight against Krishna. And so he was saying, it said in the purport, I think, where Prabhupada mentioned that actually he was doing a service for Krishna. He was thinking that I'm taking revenge, but actually he was doing a service for Krishna. Krishna doesn't have to go and look for demons to kill. Jarasandha was getting them for him. So why did I say that? Unwinding. So after doing all this, Arjuna is saying, I don't want to fight. So Krishna is saying that you're misusing my friendship. I'm sitting here for you, being a charioteer for you. But now you're saying that you don't want to fight. It's not right. And he's saying, when he gives him that, he says that dishonor is worse than death for people like you, for such people with the pedestal and status that you have. Then in the next, he's saying that if you think, in the next verse, the 35th verse, he's thinking that, what do you think, if you renounce everything, you think this Dhritarashtra or this Duryodhana, sab sudhar jayenge? What is the use of your renunciation? Kya kaam aayega? It's useless to you because you're going to be sinful. And if you think anything good will come out of this, un log sudharne wale. Karna, Bhishma, Drona, are they going to be alright? They're going to continue doing these atrocities, or not on you but then on someone else. And if you think that they will think very highly of you, they will think you're only a coward, that you ran away, and they're just waiting to tarnish your name. And you're giving them a chance. Bhayad pranad uparatam Mam Mamsyante tvam maharataha.
Mamsyante tvam maharataha.
Yesham cha tvam bahumato.
Yesham cha tvam bahumato.
Bhutva yasyasi laghavam.
Bhutva yasyasi laghavam.
The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Lord Krishna continued to give his verdict to Arjuna. Now that again those words is repeated by Prabhupada, what Krishna means to say. Do not think that the great generals like Duryodhana, Karna and other contemporaries will think that you have left the battlefield out of compassion for your brothers and grandfather. They will think that you have left out of fear for your life, and thus their high estimation of your personality will go to hell. Right now, actually in the beginning of the chapter, you will see that Duryodhana would keep mentioning Bhim, because he had this insecure feeling that if there's anyone who can defeat us, it's Arjuna and it's Bhima, because he knew their power. And now you are saying that you don't want to fight. It's not right. Avacha vadamscha bahun.
Avacha vadamscha bahun.
Vadishyanti tavahitaha.
Vadishyanti tavahitaha.
Nindantastav samarthyam.
Nindantastav samartham.
Tato dukkha nukim.
Tato dukkha nukim.
Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Lord Krishna was astonished in the beginning at Arjuna's uncalled for plea for compassion, and he described his compassion as befitting the non-Aryans. Now in so many words he has proved his statements against Arjuna's so-called compassion. He's saying now when you have to kill someone else, you're very active. It's not that from the beginning you've been like an extremely compassionate and non-violent. You've grown up in a Kshatriya family. You know that killing is done for a right purpose. Now suddenly just because your grandfather and your teacher standing, there's all compassion oozing out of your heart. So he's saying that this is not right. Compassion shouldn't be applied first of all for the material body and also according to your convenience. It's not like that. Hato va prapsasi sargam.
Hato va prapsasi sargam.
Jitva va bhokshase mahim.
Jitva va bhokshase mahim.
Tasmad uttishta kaunteya.
Tasmad uttishta kaunteya.
Yudhaya krita nishchayah.
Yudhaya krita nishchayah.
O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore get up a determination and fight. So here Krishna is saying that you are thinking there's nothing good out of this. I am saying even if you win, if you lose, both the ways it is good. If you lose, means you die. Where will you go? Heavenly planets. If you win and you stay, what do you get? The entire planet. So what is there to lose? Why do you think there's only bad things in this war? Even though there was no certainty of victory for Arjuna's side, he still had to fight. For even being killed there, he could be elevated into heavenly planets. Like Arjuna was thinking that, even if I lose, even if I win, what is the use? In this way he was philosophizing everything. So Krishna is saying both the ways you're going to get good. So if you're thinking in that sense, you have to fight. There's no excuse. Sukha dukkhe same kritva.
Sukha dukkhe same kritva.
Labha labhau jaya jaya.
Labha labhau jaya jaya.
Tato yuddhaya yujyasva.
Tato yuddhaya yujyasva.
Naivam papam avapsasi.
Naivam papam avapsasi.
Okay. Read.
Do not fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by doing so you shall never incur sin. Lord Krishna now directly says that Arjuna should fight for the sake of fighting because he desires battle. There is no consideration of happiness or distress, profit or gain, victory or defeat in the activities of Krishna consciousness. That everything should be performed for the sake of Krishna is transcendental consciousness, so there is no reaction to material activities. He who acts for his own sensual gratification, either in goodness or in passion, is subject to the reactions good and bad. that he who has completely surrendered himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness is no longer obliged to anyone, nor is he a debtor to anyone, as one is in the ordinary course of activities. It is said, Devarshi Bhuta
Devarshi Bhuta Nrinam Pitrinam Na Kinkaro Nayam Rini Charajan Sarvatmanayah Sharanam Sharanyam Kato Mukundam Parityakartam.
Anyone who has completely surrendered unto Krishna, Mukunda, giving up all other duties, is no longer a debtor, nor is he obliged to anyone, not the demigods, nor the sages, nor the people in general, nor kinsmen, nor humanity, nor forefathers. That is an indirect hint given by Krishna to Arjuna in this verse, and the matter will be more clearly explained in the following verses.
Right. So now for chapter 37, what is happening after the identity part, after the soul part, Krishna is something like dangling a carrot in front of Arjuna, coaxing him to fight. So after giving the entire Gyan Yoga, Krishna comes to Karma Kand, or about your Swadharma, what is your prescribed duty, doing that. At least come to a human platform. Those who work for sense gratification are animals, simply eating, sleeping, mating and defending. The extra abilities of human beings is, rationality or determination and discrimination. All these things are there only in human beings. So he's saying that even you think like animals, at least you come to a stage. Doing your prescribed duties or doing your duty for the sake of it is the most lowest level of motivation. But Krishna starts with that.
So now this is Swadharma. What he's talking about is Swadharma.
Earlier, up to from 31 to 37 is Swadharma.
You have
Doing
to
your
do
prescribed duties. Yeah. Doing your prescribed duties.
31 to 37.
31 to 37. He says about you're a Kshatriya, so you should fight. And wo karne se bhi you will get a lot of good results, pious results. Even if you lose, you go to heavenly planets. That's the result of your shram, of doing your prescribed duties.
So 21 to 20, 11 to 30 is Buddhi Yoga.
Yeah, Gyan Yoga.
Gyan Yoga.
It's also called as Sankhya Yoga.
What is the difference between Buddhi Yoga and Gyan Yoga?
Buddhi Yoga is mostly Prabhupada calls it Krishna consciousness only. Means your intelligence. You make a balance between working in Krishna consciousness is Buddhi Yoga.
And Gyan Yoga is knowing everything about the body.
Only knowledge part. So mostly it takes you to renunciation directly. So when hearing about the soul only, you have to know how to apply it. And after that soul, then you can do your prescribed duties. But doing your duty for the sake of doing duty is like a very low type of motivation. And then Krishna brings him little up, saying that do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress,
So that is
loss
above karma.
or gain.
That is above.
That's above duty. That's above duty. To do it without any want of results in it. Now 2.47 when we come, we'll get that. What is that? Karmanyavadikaraste.
You did it in class.
Yeah. You did it in 51.
That's it.
Say 51.
Is it? I don't know, I know it. It's there in 51, but then I know it because I think this is one of the few verses I learned before coming to ISKCON.
Yeah. I remember from the Mahabharata serial. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain. So now at this point, Krishna is trying to tell him that the Swadharma has two parts. One is your material activities, one is your spiritual activities. So in that when you know that you are the spirit soul, and when you're doing all these prescribed duties, you're not concerned about the result of it. So he's saying here that if you simply change your consciousness, that I'm doing because I'm here now, I've got this material body, there are some roles and responsibilities which come with this material body and I'm performing them. Whether I do it perfectly, what I'm supposed to do, then I get loss or gain, happiness, distress, I'm not concerned. When you're not concerned with the result, you are not chained to the reaction also. When I'm doing an action without any want of a result, whether I'm doing it my best, I'm giving it my best. Baki jo bhi ho, that depends on the Lord. If I get bad things, I accept it. If I get good things, I accept it. When you think like that, simply that consciousness will stop the law of karma for you. Simply a change of consciousness. And that means because you have this material body, you have some responsibilities.
Let's do it.
Yeah, because you have material body, you will have to eat. If you want to eat, you will have to do something for it. Cook or earn or whatever. Activities are inevitable. Like later on also, Krishna says that even to maintain this body, you have to work. Correct? So what is there's no point of time when people can cease work. I think beginning of 3rd chapter he says that. There's no point of time when you can stop work altogether. So there's no point. Even to maintain this body, you have to breathe. Breathe is also karma because so many germs are going in and bacteria are dying when we breathe. That's why the genes wear that thing. Yeah. They're trying to as much as possible as negate activities without not getting the reaction and fear of reaction. Krishna is saying that if you don't think of the reaction only, you're free from law of karma. Then he starts speaking on, then he says, thus far I've described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. And he said that when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from bondage of works. 39 pieces. But we'll just complete this. Now here, in the, hereby, just yesterday, Prabhuji gave us that shloka.
Yeah. Lesson 2.
Niti Shastra.
How you should share.
You must share because you're not the only one responsible.
Yeah, like they said, as a lake which does not let a little water out becomes
water
still that becomes
stagnant water gets spoiled.
But a little flowing out, so a little bit of your wealth goes to others.
It's lovely. It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
That analogy was so good, no?
It's amazing. So here, Prabhupada has added a very good shloka from Bhagavatam 11th canto 5th chapter. He says that any human being who is born automatically gets a debt, DEBT, from 6 entities. Remember this, Manjari? Demigods, sages,
forefathers.
people in general, kinsmen, that's relatives, humanity and forefathers.
Is that the first chapter?
Yeah, it's there in the first chapter. Yeah? The one who surrendered to Mukunda, one who surrendered to Krishna, you have to understand that he has already paid all the debt. He is not obliged. So indirectly Krishna is giving a hint to Arjun, saying that why are you thinking of loss and defeat and victory? If you're thinking like that, there are so many other debts still, which you will have to sit and pay. Okay? So one thing if you take care, you think that if you're doing my material life perfectly, I'll be perfect. You will never be able to do your material life perfectly. Because that's the nature of material life. Things will not be perfect. If things are perfect here, this would have been the spiritual world. This is a material world, means imperfect. There will be something you'll be still hankering for. There will be something that will be left out. You have to work on another platform. And the next platform he presents is in 39. Something like Nishkam Karma Yoga is in 39. Esha te bhita sankhe
Esha te bhita sankhe
बुद्धिर्योगे त्वमां शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि. Yeah, so Buddhi Yoga is now coming. Krishna is presenting Buddhi Yoga. The details of Buddhi Yoga is there in the next chapter. 5th chapter actually. The 3rd chapter he gives a glimpse, but still Arjun is confused. Again that same question he asked in the beginning of 5th chapter. So then he continues more on that. So Karma Yoga
will be doing work for Krishna.
Work without fruitive results.
Basically, I think Buddhi Yoga, most people think of it as work without fruitive results. I think it's only Prabhupada who talks about it as devotional service.
There are things and people say that sab karm karo, phal ki asha mat karo. But the last 2 lines is basically something else. They think work is worship. So काम करते रहो. But what Prabhupada is saying, काम किया उसका जो result है कृष्णा को दो. या फिर जो काम कर रहे हो वो भी कृष्णा के लिए करो. Because it's really difficult to keep this consciousness that I'll do but I shouldn't get anything. That is extremely difficult. But when you love someone and doing that thing for that person is extremely easy. It's easy and it gives you the best results. So thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Sankhya Yoga. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working with our fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from bondage of works. Because one of the major reasons why Arjuna didn't want to fight is the sins that he's going to get. He was, that whole negative spiral, this will happen, the dynasty will get dissolved and then the traditions will not be followed, then my God, there will be unprogeny. That's the way even our mind works, gaining hua to sab jayega, So Arjuna is constantly thinking about the humanity at large. He's thinking, my God, they will go down to hell if I simply take up my Gandhi and fight today. Such a big catastrophe will come. So Krishna is saying, see how you can do, fight, but at the same time not get any reactions for it. According to Nirukti or Vedic dictionary, Sankhya means that which describes in detail. And Sankhya refers to that philosophy which describes the real nature of the soul. Now, details of this, there's a book called Teachings of Lord Kapila. Prabhupada's book, Teachings of Lord Kapila, that is derived from the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a conversation between Kapila Muni and his mother Devahuti. They both are sitting and talking about it. He's Krishna's avatar, the 10th son of Kashyap Muni, who is instructing to Devahuti on this Sankhya Yoga. And Sankhya Yoga basically is to understand what is the soul, what is the matter, and how we are, aloof. What is the relationship between them? So that is Sankhya Yoga, understanding the real nature of the soul. So the whole discussion on it is there in the 4th canto. And Krishna gives a very short 20 verse, 11 to 30, it gives a very short analogy of it. Very short explanation. And yoga involves controlling the senses. Sankhya means understanding real nature of the soul, and yoga means controlling the senses. Arjuna's proposal not to fight was based on sense gratification. Forgetting his prime duty, he wanted to cease fighting, because he thought that by not killing his relatives and kinsmen, he would be happier than by enjoying the kingdom after conquering his sons and the brothers, the sons of Dhritarashtra. In both ways, the basic principles were for sense gratification. Happiness derived from conquering them and happiness derived by seeing kinsmen alive are both on the basis of personal sense gratification, even at the sacrifice of wisdom and duty. Means Arjuna was ready to let go his duty. Arjuna knew that these are bad people and I should be killing them for the good of the society. That was his wisdom. He is ready to let go even that. He is ready to let go as a Kshatriya and become a sannyasi. He is ready to put down his weapons and everything and let them do whatever they want to. And that is sense gratification. No? He is not seeing the whole picture there. Yeah. And Krishna therefore wanted to explain to Arjuna that by killing the body of his grandfather, he would not be killing the soul proper. This is like a little explanation of the Sankhya Yoga that Krishna has presented between 11 to 30. When killing the grandfather, he is not killing the soul. And he explained that all individual persons, including the Lord himself, are eternal individuals. They were individuals in the past, they were individuals in the present, they will continue to remain individuals in the future. Because all of us are individual souls eternally. We simply change our bodily dress in different manners, but actually we keep our individuality even after liberation from the bondage of material dress. Yeah, as you read.
An analytical study of the soul and the body has been very graphically explained by Lord Krishna. And this descriptive knowledge of the soul and the body from different angles of vision has been described here as Sankhya in terms of the Nirukti dictionary. This Sankhya has nothing to do with the Sankhya philosophy of the atheist Kapila. Long before the impostor Kapila's Sankhya, the Sankhya philosophy was expounded in the Srimad Bhagavatam by the true Lord Kapila, the incarnation of Lord Krishna, who explained it to his mother Devahuti. It is clearly explained by him that the Purusha, or the Supreme Lord, is active and that he creates by looking over the Prakriti. This is accepted in the Vedas and in the Gita. The description in the Vedas indicates that the Lord glanced over the Prakriti or nature and impregnated it with atomic individual souls. All these individual souls are working in the material world for sense gratification, and under the spell of material energy, they are thinking of being enjoyers. This mentality is dragged to the last point of liberation, where the living entity wants to become one with the Lord. This is the last snare of Maya or sense gratificatory illusion, and it is only after many, many births of such sense gratificatory activities that the great soul surrenders unto Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, thereby fulfilling the search after the ultimate truth.
Yeah, it is that shloka is there. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Sudurlabha. What is that? Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Prapadete Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Sudurlabha. 7.19. 7th chapter.
Yeah.
Bahunam Janmanamante
Bahunam Janmanamante
Jnanavan Ma Prapadyate
Jnanavan Ma Prapadyate
Vasudevah Sarvamiti
Vasudevah Sarvamiti
Samahatma Sudurlabha.
Samahatma Sudurlabha.
Read it together. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Yeah. So a person, it says one more shloka which says that out of many, so many souls that are there, hardly one gets to know that, oh, I'm the spirit soul. I'm beyond this material world. There's hardly one who gets to know this. Out of so many of those souls, Brahma Bhuta platform that is called. That platform is called Brahma Bhuta, means I know that I am, not even that, not about the Lord, just knowing that I am beyond this material body. Someone who gets to know that are very few. Out of thousands of those people who already know that, hardly anyone knows about Krishna. That I have a supreme connection. And out of thousands among those people knowing that I have a connection with Krishna, hardly anyone gets to know Krishna also. So it's extremely rare. Bhakti is extremely rare. Yeah? And here a very important thing Prabhupada has mentioned. See if you can answer it. What is the last snare of Maya?
Yes, it is very well. But you think that you are one with the God, no?
You
The
can
living
become
entity
one
wants to
with
become
God.
one with the God.
Yeah, just yesterday I was hearing the Honorable Prabhu's lecture, Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj's lecture. He was saying that the soul, the Jivatma, is like a drop from the ocean. The Supreme Lord is like the ocean. Qualitatively the same. But if the drop starts thinking, I am same with the Lord. Yes, he is same, but qualitatively. The quality of the drop from the ocean and the ocean is the same. Ocean water is the same. But if then the drop starts thinking that I am as big as the ocean, that is the defect. When he starts thinking that even quantitatively I can be equal with the Lord, that is a problem.
Human beings are jealous, human beings are greedy, so even that quality would be there in Krishna. Human beings are jealous.
Krishna is also greedy.
Jealous.
Envy is not there in the spiritual world. Envy is a quality which is only there in the material world. You see, envy is something that you have to give back to you. Everything else can be applied to spiritual consciousness.
Envy is the only one that we have. You were there, no?
Yeah. Anger. You're proud of being, Krishna's devotees. And you can be angry because Hanuman was angry at Ravan.
That's why he said you should
Just
teach.
as Ravan.
To take out the enviness, you must teach. You were there?
Yeah, she was here. She was here. Outside he was sitting. Saying that we're going to get rid of this envy, then we have to teach.
So all these qualities, jealousy and not jealousy is envy, the other greediness, everything is there in Krishna also, you would say.
Yeah,
We say that
greed
all.
is there because that's why he's stealing butter from others. He's greedy for his devotees' love.
Greed, all in the...
It's in the pure form.
In the pure form.
Here, because we concentrate on our ego, it becomes impure. These things. I am in the center, everyone should satisfy me. That is the problem. Huh? Like if you are imperfect, I am imperfect, how can we satisfy each other? At least one of us has to be perfect for one of us to be satisfied. So Krishna is perfect. When we make a relationship with him, then everything becomes perfect. Because he can naturally reciprocate to all the things that we need. That's all.
Yeah.
Imposter Kapila. There was an imposter Kapila. So many people when they say
What exactly did Kapila, this imposter, say? What was his theory? It's not given here.
It's there in that book. Teachings of Lord Kapila, it is there. I think his theory is also Mayavadani. I won't speculate. It's there in that book. I read it like 10 years back. But he came just about 300 years back, 400 years back.
Okay.
And he became pretty famous. And everyone thinks Kapila is that, but actually this is Devahuti's. That's why whenever Vaishnavas refer to Kapila, they say Devahuti's son Kapila. Devahuti's son Kapila. So, yeah, that part is there. And then the last layer of Maya is that you think of becoming one with the Lord. And it's, in fact, there's one point is, you know that question I had written in the test? What is Lord Chaitanya's warning?
Yeah.
You gave me the answer, no? Or you gave me the answer?
I think I gave the answer.
Yeah. You should. I told you I was confused when I gave that. You should not hear any of
Actually, there's one particular pastime where Advaita Acharya is there, no? In the Panchatattva Advaita Acharya, he came. He's much by age. He was senior to Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, but he knew that Lord Chaitanya is the Lord, and the Lord always would give him a lot of respect. You know. Give him a lot of respect in that, and to everyone else he would behave so nice and very jolly, very friendly. And Advaita Acharya is thinking, oh, I wish my Lord was like that with me. But he gives me respect, he touches my feet. It's just I just can't take it. He said that I'm going to force the Lord to change his thing to me. I want to be his servant. I don't want to be his superior and anything. The way he behaves with me. But Lord Chaitanya being the Lord, and he was following the best etiquette. And this is Advaita Acharya appeared before him, then I should give him respect. And he was old at that time. Advaita Acharya was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's older brother's guru. So that way he used to give him much respect. Vishwambhar is Lord Chaitanya's name. Vishwarup was Lord Chaitanya's older brother's name. He left when he was 12, he left for... He was pretty young, around 16 he left for sannyas. He left the house. So at that time, the guru was Advaita Acharya. So then he was very respectful in his dealings and everything. So one day Advaita Acharya, he was giving a lecture. All the villagers were sitting, all the devotees were sitting, and he was giving a lecture. That time from far he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming towards his, the hall. So then he started speaking Mayavad philosophy, saying, that Krishna and he are one only. And there's no difference between Jiva and Paramatma. And this and that. Chaitanya is. He started boiling. His eyes turned red, and he couldn't take it. He said, "How can Advaita Acharya speak like this?" And he took up a stick. He jumped on the stage. He caught Advaita Acharya. He pushed him to the ground. He started beating him up. Advaita Acharya was laughing. He was thinking, finally, he's treated me like this. And then all the devotees were like, what's happening? What is going on? So Advaita Acharya said, no, this philosophy is bogus. I just wanted for the Lord to take me as his servant. So I did the Lord Chaitanya said that, never do this again. This philosophy is something is just completely not valuable. And then another point of time, there was a devotee. There's a particular...
Yeah. No, it's a Mayavad module.
I had heard it long back actually. In Mayapur Yatra, Maharaj said this past. It's called the Mahaprakash Leela. That Leela went on for 21 hours. 21 hours. Mahaprakash Leela. That was at Srivas Angan, the last in the Panchatattva, Srivas Thakur, Srivasa the Gaur Bhaktivinoda. So that's Srivasa's house. At that time, the Lord, if anyone would tell the Lord Chaitanya that, we know you are the Supreme Lord, he would say Vishnu, Jiva can never be the God, because he was showing, he was showing that what is the ideal standard. But on that day, all when very close of his associates were there, he went and sat on the throne of the Narsingha Shaligram, and then he said that now you perform my Abhishek. So that Leela went on, and he was reciprocating with each and every devotee. There was one Murari Gupta who was actually Hanuman in the past life, and this time in Lord Chaitanya's Leela he was Hanuman. There was another devotee who was, so many of them, different pastimes, and all these devotees were there. And then Narad Muni, Prahlad Maharaj, Vasudev Ghosh was Prahlad Maharaj, from previous, and now in this Leela he had become Vasudev Ghosh. So like that, there were so many disciples. There was one particular student, one particular associate of Lord Chaitanya called Mukunda. And so everyone was saying that, Lord, you've called everyone, but you've not called Mukunda. And Mukunda was just waiting, was standing behind the pillar that when the Lord called me. And he lied at his audience, Why is he not calling me? I also come here every day. So then Lord Chaitanya said, I'm not going to call him. Because he's a hypocrite. I can stand anything, but I can't stand a hypocrite. So everyone was like, Mukunda, he sings the holy name so well. His kirtan you love so much. He said, yes, but when he's with the Mayavadis, when he's with the others, he sits and gets himself entertained with that philosophy. He hears them. So then the devotees didn't understand that he is not speaking it, he is not following it, he is simply hearing. He's saying that when a devotee, when a person hears Mayavad, it's like, or anyone speaks Mayavad, it's like you're glorifying me, but then you're a devotee, when you come here, you glorify me, but then you take a stick and you beat on my head. Maya philosophy is like that. That you beat on the Lord's head. His form is, for devotees, when they see the Lord's form, they fall in love. Their love simply increases. When someone says that form is Maya, so then their heart breaks. Even for the Lord, it's like, that Mukunda, he hits on my head with a rod, with an iron rod. This is the statement he made. So he's that serious about it. He's saying that, what is that Mayavad Bhashya Sunile Hoilo Sarvanash? He said, whatever spiritual credits that you've got will all be destroyed. If you simply hear Mayavad, you simply follow Mayavad, or even hearing is that bad. It will simply kill all your spiritual